I'd like to move on to our last speaker of this session, that is Dr. Waleed Rasool. Dr. Waleed Rasool is an academic. He has an MPhil and also a PhD from the International Islamic University of Islamabad, a peace activist, a motivational speaker, and he was born in Shupanya, I hear now. I had not asked him in the past, but it's wonderful to have him here. You already heard him. Dr. Waleed Rasool, please proceed. And your topic is very favorite topic of mine, and that again can be clubbed into what has been said in the theme: regional hegemony, India and China standoff in the Kashmir.
Sir, are you listening me, sir?
Yeah, we can.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Sir, for giving me some time. Actually, my topic is a little bit complex and also an academic, because in international relations, we say state is an only actor in international arena. So my subject is focused upon Pakistan as a state actor and our supporter. And now, if we talk about hegemony, hegemony has three dimensions. It is driven strategically and on the doctrine of Chanakya, who wrote Arthashastra, and same philosophy, same strategic philosophy is carried on through Mahabharata and Hindutva. And present government, BJP, who is banking on the politics of hatred, which worked. She isolated Muslims and other communities, and she is banking on that vote bank which has hatred against Muslims and Pakistan. Number one. Number two, Modi's policy worked when they attacked Balakot and they ripped off the sovereignty of the Pakistan. And as per international law, if any state breaches the sovereignty of any state, UN will move that country into the United Nations Security Council, but that not happened in Kashmir case. Now, what is important, what India is doing since 1947, and we have to make it clear. Number one, Kashmir is not the only state, independent state of elsewhere independent state which was annexed by India. There are other states also. For example, Andaman Nicobar in 1950, Assam in 1950, Goa in 1961, Nagaland in 1963, Sikkim in 1975. And there is one synergy while occupying these states. That is, create the unrest and breach, hedge the conflict, and then enter the army and then annex. Same has been happening in the Kashmir context. It is very interesting that it is not only the Kashmir which was. Now, what is the difference between Kashmir and other northeast states of India, where she totally and entirely maintained her hegemony? I say it has three dimensions. The states which digested and maintained her total hegemony has adopted the four-pronged strategy which already I mentioned. Now, second question is how her hegemonic style in the region is made possible. She breached the sovereignty of the Pakistan while investing on Mukti Bahani. Pakistan, India is the best actor to hatch the militancy, and that was a successful militancy. Then she made an argument, since there is the conflict, so I have to enter our 2 division of the army in the Bangladesh and then Pakistan was fragmented. Number one assault and a successful assault. Number two, she entered an army first. She funded LTTE and terrorist organization who first used suicide bombers in Sri Lanka, and then the Rajiv Gandhi became victim of the same militancy, and they were trying to divide Jaffna from mainland of Sri Lanka. The second regional episode of our hegemony, a successful hegemon and his strategic move on the tactical ground through the use of hard power. And number four, Bhutan. She raised the issue of the Bhutan and she scrapped her foreign policy, that she should not carry her independent foreign policy. Now, on the basis of the analysis on the regional hegemonic style of the India, Bhutan will be the next victim in coming 3 or 4 years. And number fifth, now the question arises, how can be hegemon handled regionally? She diluted the mechanism of the SAARC and hijacked the SAARC mechanism unilaterally. And Pakistan was made isolated. When there was a session of the SAARC in 2014 in Pakistan, and India applied her relations with the other SAARC countries and they isolated Pakistan from the SAARC nations. So it means SAARC was diluted and there is no regional solution to this issue that we can handle the hegemon regionally. Number fourth, can Pakistan handle the India unilaterally? Our military budget is $71 billion. $71 billion is the military budget of the India, which has been recently published by Stockholm Peace Organization. And it is the third biggest military budget of any nation. And in which she is investing $6 billion on her intelligence agencies. It means this is an economical issue. Number two, size. India is 6 times more than the size of the Pakistan. Number four, the market, which is the mega impediment that we have not been convinced so far to convince the international community. International community has two interpretations in international relations mechanism. One, realist school of thought say there is no international community, it is state which is acting and resolving any matter. And they give an example. When there was a war against Iraq, there was a huge processions on the streets of the New York, Washington, London, that there should be no Iraq war. But still, state took the initiative and they launched a war against Iraq. And the resolution was passed within 24 hours. Number one. Number two, that when United Nations is funded by America, followed by Japan and Germany, 78% of the funding comes from these 3 nations to the United Nations. So she is selective as far as any conflict is concerned. Now the question arises, how we can handle the hegemon? We need a law of interdependence. Theoretically and by doctrine, we can prove only if you don't have interests. So international relations, it is interest which matters. And when you do not create the interest, it means if we are making any contribution, it is in vacuum. Now, what is the interest? Interest has been created first time by Pakistan and China through CPEC. This is a theory of interdependence. You are dependent on me and my security concerns are your problem. That is a mega issue. Since CPEC is passing through disputed territory of Azad Kashmir, because Pakistan says, as per Article 57 of the Constitution, that entire state of Jammu Kashmir is a disputed territory and it is final resolution when done be according to wishes and aspirations of the Kashmiri people. So the connection has been made through Gilgit to CPEC. Now, what type of interest it can gain, and we can capitalize that in Kashmir. Here, I am little bit cautious. There have been interests of the America and the interests of the Pakistan in the Afghanistan, but she failed, or there were some complications that was not transformed in resolving the Kashmir conflict, accepting some military hardware and the soft power interests. Now, this is a big corporate topic, and if we will stretch it, it has so many dimensions. But I am talking about only 3 dimensions. That is the domestic dimension, regional dimension, and international dimension. If we will call at the international dimension, I have to make the 4 points. Sir, as Dr. Mubin Shah has already given some suggestion, I have already wrote a paper on that. That is CPEC, the driver of globalization and the path to peace. Kashmir as a case study, that is available on the net. That is published by an international journal, and I have given that findings that when you have maximum the degree of interdependence in the relations, maximum of the chances of chain gauging and buck passing. That means China and Pakistan are coming closer. So what is the argument of the China that she can intervene in the Kashmir conflict? So argument is there. When India invaded and divided Bangladesh, she made the same argument, and same argument was raised by India and implemented in the Doklam crisis of the Bhutan. She helped Bangladesh militarily, she helped Bhutan militarily. This is number 1 argument. Number 2, that CPEC has some relations with the strategic points that has correlation with the Kashmir issue, because when the interests are through Indian Ocean, there is a long route to India for China goods, because it should be in our knowledge that China is exporting 80% of the goods internationally. That means China needs same quantity or same quantum of raw material to be transformed in the shaped good. So we have the consensus, the scholars which here, what is the minimum possible solution? Sir, minimum possible solution, I was receiving the regular input from Dr. Mubin Shah about this, and I have wrote already a full chapter in my PhD on this subject. So this if Pakistan wishes to change the status quo, she can unilaterally decide that Azad Kashmir and Gilgit, with the consent of China, is a free economic zone. There is no problem. It is under the sovereignty of the Pakistan. It can change the status quo. Number 1. Number 2, CPEC, the OBR, the mega initiative of it is a new global order. The OBR is the new global order. If anybody is on the board of OBR, he will be relevant. If he is not on board, he will be isolated. The same is the situation in South Asian countries. So here, entrance of China in Southeastern nations of this region have challenged the hegemony of the India. So it favors us. Number 1. Number 2, Pakistan must accept China as the 4th party to the dispute, because she controls a 1 mega portion of the excise chain. Number 4, there is some linkage through the Galwan Valley from LOC via Sichuan Glacier, where we have some sort of the hole. So these are, sir, 4 suggestions which I want to put for your concentration on the basis of my study. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Walid Rasool. Beautifully done.